Believe it or not, there were many homes off the electrical grid in the 1900s, even while the so-called power grid we know today was getting its start. A typical solution was a wind generator or some kind of gasoline-powered generator, along with a rack of lead-acid batteries, typically arranged in a voltage of 36 volts. Kohler and Delco were two of the more well-known companies that sold these gasoline-powered lighting solutions to the general public. Obviously, a system like this did not provide as much power as an actual grid hookup, but it was better than working on your farm in the dark. A typical system might put out several hundred watts and be able to light over a dozen 50-watt light bulbs, or it might be running fewer bulbs but also powering some electric appliances. I remember reading a comment from a gentleman who told me that back in those days they actually had appliances in different versions, including the farm version, and the farm version was actually a DC-powered electric version designed for running off the electrical grid. The greatest blessing of these systems was that you no longer had to worry about kerosene lanterns and fire risks. You could just turn on an electric light bulb and be done with it. These off-grid systems actually did quite a bit more than run lights and small appliances. They could also pump water and do many other things. Unfortunately, I could not find any photographs of the early lead-acid batteries that were in use. They were like glass jars, and they were arranged in banks of several, 2 volts each, usually in wooden boxes and lined up against a wall on shelves. Each battery gave about 1 or 2 volts, and when connected in series, they gave well over 30 volts DC. I find it amusing that the Delco sales representatives in those days had a Delco power generator system in their cars, and when they traveled to the farms to try to sell their system, they would turn on lights and brew coffee and use that to try to sell their system. And yes, they had electric coffee brewers in those days that were powered by DC. So why am I making a video about being off-grid in the 1900s? I have started converting my home to a 55 volts DC system. The reason is that 55 volts is lower and safer, and it's about exactly 1/2 of Edison's 110 volt system that he first set up. I don't feel comfortable with over 100 volts DC surging through wires around my feet, under my house, in the yard, and near my pets, so I chose the lower voltage of 55 volts DC. It's a nominal voltage. When the system is operating in PV-DC direct mode, its voltage may float up over 50 volts DC, so its nominal voltage is a bit high. However, it's also widely compatible with typical 51.2 volts lithium iron phosphate battery systems, and many 48 volt appliances will work as well. And that is also why I chose a 55 volt nominal system design. One of the greatest benefits of this type of system is that it doesn't require a charge controller and it doesn't require an inverter. There is no AC switching noise, and it runs on clean, pure, direct DC current all the time. The system is able to keep running even with the battery disconnected, and this makes it a very novel and resilient system for off-grid and grid-down environments. I will have a video uploaded as soon as possible showing this system in its current form. For now, feel free to watch part 1 where I introduce the idea, and part 2 is going to go into a little more detail and show how the system works and some of the appliances that we're using in our kitchen to cook with. Folks, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you have time. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.